This story is based on true events. In a bustling city, Emily, a young woman full of dreams and desires, found herself drawn to the excitement of shopping. On a bright and sunny day, she ventured out into the streets lined with shops and cafes, each one beckoning with promises of delight. As Emily wandered, her eyes danced with excitement at the sight of beautiful clothes and tempting treats. Without thinking too much, she stepped into a store that caught her eye, the racks filled with colorful garments calling out to her. Caught up in the moment, Emily began picking out items that she liked, each one adding to her growing pile of things to buy. She didn't stop to consider the cost or whether she really needed everything she was grabbing. When she reached the checkout counter, Emily felt a surge of anticipation. She handed over her credit card without hesitation, eager to make her purchases and experience the thrill of owning new things. As she walked out of the store, bags in hand, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration. However, little did she know that her impulsive spending would soon lead to consequences she hadn't anticipated. She continued on her way, unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. Despite her excitement, a nagging feeling of unease began to creep into Emily's mind. She couldn't shake the thought that maybe she had gone too far this time. But in the moment, the thrill of her purchases drowned out any doubts she may have had. As Emily made her way home, the weight of her spending began to settle in. She couldn't ignore the sinking feeling in her stomach as she realized the implications of her actions. But for now, she pushed those thoughts aside, determined to enjoy the rush of excitement for as long as it lasted. Little did Emily know, this impulsive spree would set into motion a chain of events that would test her in ways she never imagined. But for now, she was content to bask in the glow of instant gratification, blissfully unaware of the storm that was brewing on the horizon. After her shopping spree, Emily returned home, her arms laden with bags filled with her latest purchases. At first, she felt a sense of satisfaction, relishing in the excitement of her new belongings. However, as the days passed, reality began to set in. Emily received her credit card statement in the mail, and to her dismay, she found that she had spent far more than she had anticipated. The total amount due was staggering, and Emily felt a knot form in the pit of her stomach as she realized the extent of her overspending. Despite her initial feelings of denial, Emily couldn't ignore the harsh truth staring back at her from the pages of her statement. She had fallen into the trap of instant gratification, and now she was facing the consequences. As the weeks went by, Emily found herself sinking deeper and deeper into debt. The bills continued to pile up, and no matter how hard she tried to keep up with her payments, she felt like she was barely treading water. The stress of her financial situation weighed heavily on Emily's mind, casting a dark shadow over her once bright outlook on life. She found herself losing sleep at night, worrying about how she would ever dig herself out of the hole she had created. Despite her best efforts to cut back on spending and tighten her budget, Emily felt like she was fighting a losing battle. The allure of instant gratification continued to tempt her, and she struggled to resist the urge to splurge on frivolous purchases. As Emily watched her debt continue to grow, she knew that something had to change. She couldn't keep living like this, constantly on edge and struggling to make ends meet. It was time to face the reality of her situation and take decisive action to turn things around before it was too late. As Emily's debt continued to mount, she found herself facing a harsh reality. No longer could she ignore the consequences of her impulsive spending. The weight of her financial burden bore down on her shoulders, casting a shadow over her once carefree existence. One day, as Emily sat down to review her finances, she was struck by a sudden realization. She couldn't continue living in denial any longer. It was time to confront the truth head-on and take control of her financial future. With a newfound determination, Emily embarked on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. She began by educating herself on the fundamentals of personal finance, devouring books and articles on budgeting, saving, and debt management. Armed with knowledge, Emily took a hard look at her spending habits and identified areas where she could cut back and save money. She canceled unnecessary subscriptions, cooked more meals at home, and resisted the urge to splurge on frivolous purchases. But perhaps the most significant change came from within. Emily realized that her spending habits were not just about the desire for material possessions, but were rooted in deeper emotional needs. She had been using shopping as a way to fill a void in her life, seeking validation and happiness in all the wrong places. With this newfound awareness, Emily began to shift her mindset and prioritize her long-term financial goals over short-term gratification. She set up a budget and started tracking her expenses diligently, making sure every dollar was allocated wisely. As Emily took control of her finances, she felt a sense of empowerment wash over her. No longer was she at the mercy of her impulsive urges. She was the master of her own destiny. And with each small victory, her confidence grew, propelling her forward on her journey towards financial freedom. With a newfound determination to take control of her financial future, Emily delved into the world of personal finance. She recognized that knowledge was power and sought to arm herself with the tools and strategies needed to build a solid foundation for her financial well-being. Emily started by devouring books, articles, and online resources on budgeting, saving, investing, and debt management. She immersed herself in the world of financial literacy, soaking up every piece of advice and wisdom she could find. As she learned more about the principles of sound money management, Emily began to see her financial situation in a new light. She realized that her previous lack of awareness had led her down a path of financial instability, but now she had the power to change course. Armed with knowledge, Emily created a comprehensive financial plan tailored to her unique goals and circumstances. She set up a budget to track her income and expenses, ensuring that every dollar was allocated wisely and in line with her priorities. Emily also took steps to build an emergency fund, setting aside a portion of her income each month to cover unexpected expenses or financial setbacks. She understood the importance of having a safety net in place to protect herself from life's uncertainties. In addition to saving, Emily began to explore opportunities for investing her money wisely. She researched different investment vehicles and strategies, seeking to grow her wealth over time and secure her financial future. As Emily continued to educate herself on financial principles, she felt a growing sense of confidence and empowerment. No longer was she overwhelmed by the complexities of money management. She had the knowledge and skills needed to navigate the financial landscape with ease. And with each new lesson learned, she moved one step closer to achieving her dreams of financial security and independence. As Emily delved deeper into her journey towards financial empowerment, she realized that her spending habits were not just about numbers on a page. They were deeply intertwined with her emotions and beliefs about money. Emily took a brave step forward and began to confront the emotional aspect of her spending. She acknowledged that she had been using shopping as a way to fill a void in her life, seeking validation and happiness in material possessions. With a newfound awareness, Emily embarked on a journey of self-discovery, exploring the underlying emotions and beliefs that had fueled her reckless spending habits. She confronted her fears and insecurities head-on, recognizing that true happiness could not be found in the latest fashion trends or luxury goods. Emily sought support from friends, family, and mentors who could offer guidance and encouragement along the way. She shared her struggles openly and vulnerably, finding strength in the knowledge that she was not alone in her journey. Through therapy and self-reflection, Emily began to unravel the deep-seated beliefs that had held her captive for so long. She learned to recognize the triggers that led to impulsive spending and developed healthier coping mechanisms to deal with stress and anxiety. As Emily peeled back the layers of her emotional baggage, she felt a sense of liberation wash over her. No longer was she defined by her possessions or the opinions of others. She was free to chart her own course and live life on her own terms. With each step forward, Emily grew stronger and more resilient. She embraced vulnerability as a source of strength and used her experiences to inspire others on their own journeys towards financial freedom. As Emily continued to confront the emotional aspect of her spending, she found a sense of peace and fulfillment that money could never buy. She realized that true wealth was not measured in material possessions, but in the richness of human connection and the depth of self-discovery. With a newfound understanding of the emotional aspects of her spending, Emily embarked on a journey towards mindful consumption. She recognized that true fulfillment could not be found in impulse purchases or frivolous spending, but rather in intentional choices aligned with her values and goals. Emily embraced the concept of mindful spending, which involved pausing to consider the true value of a purchase before making it. She adopted a series of practices to help her make more conscious decisions with her money. One such practice was the 24-hour rule, where Emily would wait a day before making any non-essential purchases. This gave her time to reflect on whether the item was truly necessary and aligned with her long-term goals. Emily also practiced gratitude, taking time each day to appreciate the things she already had, rather than constantly seeking out new possessions. This shift in perspective helped her cultivate contentment and reduce the desire for unnecessary spending. As Emily became more mindful of her spending habits, she also became more intentional about where she put her money. She sought out businesses and brands that aligned with her values, supporting companies that prioritize sustainability, ethical labor practices, and social responsibility. In addition to being mindful of her individual purchases, Emily also took a holistic approach to her finances. She regularly reviewed her budget and financial goals, making adjustments as needed to stay on track. Through mindfulness, Emily found a sense of empowerment and control over her financial life. No longer was she at the mercy of impulse or external pressures. She was the master of her own destiny, making conscious choices that aligned with her values and aspirations. As Emily continued to embrace mindful spending habits, she felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. She realized that true wealth was not measured in possessions or status, but in the richness of a life lived with intention and purpose. Armed with newfound knowledge and mindful spending habits, Emily set her sights on a lofty goal: financial freedom. She understood that this journey would not be easy, but she was determined to pursue it with unwavering dedication and perseverance. Emily began by setting clear financial goals for herself, outlining what she wanted to achieve and by when. Whether it was paying off her debt, building an emergency fund, or saving for retirement, she knew that having concrete goals would help her stay focused and motivated along the way. With her goals in mind, Emily devised a strategic plan to achieve them. She broke down her goals into smaller, manageable steps, making it easier to track her progress and stay on course. One of Emily's first priorities was to tackle her debt. She created a debt repayment plan, prioritizing high-interest debts and allocating extra funds towards paying them off as quickly as possible. At the same time, Emily focused on building her savings. She automated her savings contributions, setting aside a portion of her income each month to go towards her emergency fund and long-term savings goals. Emily also took steps to increase her income, whether it was through seeking out new job opportunities, asking for a raise, or exploring side hustles and passive income streams. She understood that increasing her earning potential would accelerate her progress towards financial freedom. As Emily continued on her journey, she encountered obstacles and setbacks along the way. There were moments of doubt and frustration, but she refused to let them deter her from her ultimate goal. With perseverance and determination, Emily pressed on, inching closer and closer towards financial freedom with each passing day. And as she looked back on how far she had come, she felt a sense of pride and accomplishment knowing that she was charting her own path to a brighter and more secure future. As Emily progressed on her journey towards financial freedom, she began to realize that true happiness and fulfillment could not be found in material possessions or financial success alone. Instead, she discovered that the key to living a truly fulfilling life lay in cultivating meaningful connections, pursuing her passions, and finding joy in the simple pleasures of everyday life. With this newfound perspective, Emily shifted her focus away from the relentless pursuit of wealth and material possessions, and towards the things that truly mattered to her. She spent more time with loved ones, nurturing her relationships and creating cherished memories together. Emily also reconnected with her passions and interests, carving out time in her busy schedule to pursue activities that brought her joy and fulfillment. Whether it was painting, hiking, or volunteering in her community, she found that investing in her passions enriched her life in ways that money never could. As Emily embraced a more balanced and fulfilling lifestyle, she found that her financial goals became less about accumulating wealth and more about creating a life that aligned with her values and aspirations. She understood that financial freedom was not an end in itself, but rather a means to live life on her own terms and pursue her dreams with confidence and purpose. Along the way, Emily encountered challenges and setbacks, but she faced them with resilience and determination, knowing that each obstacle was an opportunity for growth and learning. She leaned on her support network for encouragement and guidance, finding strength in the knowledge that she was not alone on her journey. As Emily reflected on her transformation, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the lessons she had learned and the person she had become. She realized that true wealth was not measured in dollars and cents, but in the richness of a life lived with purpose, passion, and authenticity. And with that realization, she knew that she had truly found the key to lasting happiness and fulfillment. As Emily neared the culmination of her journey towards financial freedom, she reflected on the profound transformation she had undergone. She realized that her relationship with money had evolved from one of fear and uncertainty to one of confidence and empowerment. With this newfound clarity, she was ready to rewrite her financial story and embrace a future filled with promise and possibility. The first step in rewriting her financial story was to let go of the past and forgive herself for past mistakes. Emily understood that dwelling on past financial missteps would only hold her back from achieving her goals. Instead, she chose to focus on the present moment and the opportunities it held for her future. With a clean slate, Emily set out to define her financial goals with clarity and purpose. She took the time to reflect on what truly mattered to her and what she wanted to achieve in life. Whether it was owning a home, traveling the world, or starting her own business, she knew that her financial goals would serve as guideposts on her journey towards fulfillment. Next, Emily devised a plan to achieve her goals, breaking them down into actionable steps that she could take each day. She created a budget that aligned with her values and priorities, ensuring that every dollar was working towards building the life she envisioned for herself. As Emily implemented her plan, she remained flexible and adaptable, adjusting her course as needed in response to changes in her circumstances or priorities. She understood that life was unpredictable, but she was determined to stay true to her vision and persevere in the face of adversity. With each small victory, Emily felt a sense of pride and accomplishment, knowing that she was taking control of her financial destiny and shaping her own future. She realized that rewriting her financial story was not just about achieving monetary success, but about creating a life that was rich in meaning, purpose, and joy. As Emily looked towards the horizon, she felt a renewed sense of optimism and excitement for the possibilities that lay ahead. Armed with the lessons she had learned and the resilience she had developed along the way, she was ready to embark on the next chapter of her journey with confidence and determination. And as she turned the page on her old financial story, she knew that the best was yet to come. The moral of Emily's story is that true wealth and fulfillment come from within, not from material possessions or financial success alone. Through her journey towards financial freedom, Emily learned valuable lessons about the importance of mindfulness, self-awareness, and aligning her financial decisions with her values and goals. She discovered that by cultivating meaningful connections, pursuing her passions, and finding joy in the simple pleasures of everyday life, she could create a life that was rich in meaning and fulfillment. Ultimately, Emily's story serves as a reminder that while money is important, it is only one piece of the puzzle when it comes to living a truly fulfilling life.